The 1988 Micromaster, and the cool thing about him, this is really his strongest mode, is his truck mode, where he's apparently carrying some sort of missiles or perhaps they're lasers. And he also has some little black lasers up here that can rotate up and down. So he's got a bit of firepower to him. Roughstuff is the poster child for trigger happy, but Roughstuff can be at the slightest hint of a target, he'll fire, verifying the target and aiming are for sissy bots. In a rare sign of wisdom, his superiors have transferred him very far from the front lines. This has just made him even more hungry for things to shoot at. So that's basically him, and the windows up here gives him a nice swindle-like quality. He's one of those Micromaster transport vehicles from this time, sort of a later wave Micromaster concept. So it's a Micromaster transport, and so the actual Micromaster is up there, and this is all his stuff that he's transporting. So this also gives him sort of a he's got the Combaticon color scheme between the blue, the black, the gray, this kind of greenish yellow color. And he's got 8 caster wheels in this mode, 4 on the trailer. And 4 on the Micromaster. Now if I give him some traction, like here on my mouse pad, you can really hear all those casters rolling. Put him on something smoother like my desk and it doesn't work quite as well. But he needs a little bit of traction and maybe even a little bit of weight pushing down on him to get these casters rolling. Now they are molded so that they can get a little traction, but they're just such tiny caster wheels, and the toy is really, I guess rolling was more of an afterthought for this toy. So he's a cool transport. There's not a whole lot of molded detail, so the sculpting is down to like vents and panel lines, but there aren't a lot of them. There's some panel lines here and some fake wheels. Yay, fake wheels. This whole thing I don't like is there's no molded detail at all in this section here because the wing has to come up against it, but you know, you could have had something here. Whatever. They had to make room for the part that moves here on the hinge, I guess. So taking off the Micromaster, which is Roughstuff. He's a kind of unusual Micromaster. He's a cab, but that's not, that part itself isn't that unusual for Micromaster combiners. Combining with their cabs, not combining in the sense of combining to become super robots. But he's unusual in that his transformation, even for a Micromaster, yep, I pretty much did it in 3 steps there, makes almost all of his vehicle go onto his back, and then you can move his arms around. That's basically all of his articulation. Arms go to there, arms go to there. So there is Roughstuff. He's actually pretty well sculpted for a Micromaster, though. Lots of nice sculpted head details and some little chest armaments. Gives him a very tough Combaticon look to him. So he's a good Micromaster, very solid. He even stands really well, which is a nice thing for Micromasters to do, due to his nice foot base. Now what does this do? Well, it becomes a kind of, hold that down, and do a cool thing with this easily lost piece, the double-barreled cannon. And flip that out for a nose cone kind of deal. But you gotta put the double-barreled cannon back. And they plug into ports. Once they plug into the ports, they were at those back ports, and now they're at these front ports. Then you flip the bar up. And there are 2 ways you can put Roughstuff in the back of the jet now. Yes, this. So this is kind of a jet fighter thing. As much so as the Micromasters tend to be with jet fighters for Micromasters to ride on. Go. This is pretty average. You get a little bar for him to pretend he's holding on to, even though he's just pegged into the back there. And you know, it's pretty good. I think it works in a sort of sky skiff kind of this has some nice molded detail onto it, and these kind of look like either missiles or lasers again. You gotta think more playfully about it. You can't take this tremendously seriously, though I actually like taking him off of it, flipping in this part, like I was transforming it, and then just sitting him back here, so that he's not quite so elevated. Doesn't make it look more like a roller coaster bar, but at least they gave him enough room so that he can sit down back there if you want him to not be so air skiff based and be more serious and determined to crush stuff, blow it up. So that is basically Roughstuff, the amazing Micromaster transport Decepticon. Oh, they do come off. Awesome. So you can take the missiles off and fire them at enemies, or pretend to fire them. So that's awesome. Great. I'm glad they do that.